Oh yes, if there's one game I've poured all my heart and soul into for the past 10 years at this point, it's without a doubt Team Fortress 2, which, just like my friend's drug problem, is an absolute fucking addiction. We're talking about a game that's stood the test of time through the worst of situations, and I do mean the worst of situations. A game that has lasted over a decade than a CW TV show ever could, and somehow still keeps its toxicity. Just ask the cancer cells on my forehead. All the crazy and random crap that goes on into these lobbies is just batshit insanity, and the core to this that makes the gameplay stand out is clearly the graphics. Like, come on guys. Like, everyone knows cell shading is peak fiction, alright? But no, actually, I'm talking about these chads, the 9 mercenaries of 2Fort. All of them handcrafted by Gaben himself and are the finest when it comes to FPS shooters. Each one with their own playstyles, personalities. It's insane how much love went into these characters. But this leads to the question, who is the best of the best? None. All of them are great. No, seriously. I think all the mercenaries are fun as hell to play, and their personalities are just amazing overall. So come with me on a trip around the world as we indulge in the many colors of TF2. By the way, if you're wondering why most of the footage is that of 2Fort and barely any other maps, that's because I play on a 24/7 2Fort server. Because let's face it, even before the bot crisis happened, casual was always mid as hell. So with that out of the way, let us begin.
Boom! I'm back, dummy!
Oh boy, we're starting here, huh? I can already hear the keyboards clacking of 1,000 skunt fans, typing out in unison entire essays of death threats in pure anger of me putting the fastest run to the pack, ironically in dead last. But I can definitely see where the hate comes from. The little Boston boy that could is the most mobile of all the classes, with an extra 33% movement speed compared to the other mercs. Hell, other classes need special gear to even come close to that speed, and even then they are still shy of it. This combined with Scout's ability to double jump makes Scout the perfect flanker, which is also paired nicely with his weapons. The scatter gun is one of the most disgusting weapons in TF2. Not only does this thing have a meaner 1-2 combo than Burger King's 2 for 5, but combining this with Scout's agility makes not only one of the most annoying ass classes to deal with, but makes for an absurdly aggressive hit and run combo that you would only get out of Boston. But this isn't the only thing Scout has, as he comes packing one of the greatest powers in video games: the ability to pick your own fights. I think the best analogy to describe it is that annoying fly that won't leave you. You see it, it's in your face, but it's too damn fast to swat it out of the air. And that's how I would describe an encounter with a scout. Even with something like Pyro's lingering fire, skilled enough scouts can make quick work of a WM1er. And just like his playstyle, his personality is just all up in your face and all around asinine, but god damn it is it entertaining. The dude can make a 5-star TV show with his vocab alone.
Look at you! You look like you ran through traffic! The best man won, you bomb-throwing drunk. Drop dead and give me 20. Hey, here's something you can invent next time. Duck it!
Where's my show, Netflix? But the real question is why he's at the very bottom of the list. Well, someone has to come in last. If I'm being honest with you, I don't like his playstyle. I've never been into the fast-paced hit-and-run style of Scout. I know he has other weapons that can spice up the gameplay, but all of them, if not most of his secondaries, got nuked into oblivion. Sandman and Cleaver combo doesn't work anymore. Bonk is basically useless. Crit Ebola is okay-ish, just only in certain scenarios. And Pretty Boy's Pocket Pistol makes me pretty sick to even use it. Not even his primary ults are standoffish. The only ones I find any use for are the Force of Nature and the Babyface Blaster. But that's because the Force of Nature is the most different playstyle wise, and the Babyface makes Scout an even more chicken shit coward than he already was in terms of fighting, along with his health pool being the lowest of all the mercenaries. It makes him a huge glass cannon, meaning most power classes that are aggressive enough can easily dispatch a Scout, such as Soldier's rockets and splash damage, Demo's sticky bombs, or Heavy's minigun. And considering this is TF2, any area denial based weapons cripple his hit and run tactics very quickly. Basically play Engineer or Pyro. And while I think he is entertaining, I think the other mercenaries in terms of their personalities just blow him out of the water. But hey, at least little Jeremy will still be hitting the big leagues, even though he comes in dead last each time. I fear no man, but that thing, it scares me. In second to last, we have the enigma of the team, the burning psychopath of red and blue, the Pyro. A bit of a shame too, because despite his placement, I like Pyro. The muffled monster of the team is oozing with charm, only seeing things through the lens of a child, blissfully ignorant of the carnage he spreads. So any modern tech company, as his enemies are burnt, ripped, and mutilated like a cheap party city piñata. Thanks to having some of the most despised weapons in all of TF2. Started with the flamethrower. With it being, you know, a goddamn flamethrower, it has stupidly good range. But that isn't what makes it so dangerous. What makes it such a threat isn't the direct flames, but what happens when the flames touch you. Afterburn. If that hot ass fire touches even a pixel of your flesh, you'll be engulfed in lingering damage effects for 10 seconds. And this is what usually kills people, not the flamethrower. Unless you're near water or a health pack or a scout and sniper has Girardi or Mad Mill, you might as well accept your fate. But of course, while talking about the flamethrower, we can't forget about alt fire. The air blast is the second reason why Pyro is so infamous. With a single click of mouse 2, any and all projectiles in front of you will fly back at any would-be target, or if you want to be a dick, launch into some helpless chap on the side right there. Yeah, see little Timmy there? He's about to get blown the fuck up. It's basically the equivalency of an Uno reverse card for Pyro. And don't just think it launches rockets and pills back. Oh no, it can say no to milk, arrows, stickies, flares, and helpless victims that you can just launch into trains. You see where I'm going with this, right? And this isn't with even mentioning the cancer that is the scorch shit and thermal thumper. Trust me when I say there's no easier way to piss off a sniper than to use these fucking things in tandem. If you main sniper, you know how hellish it can be. And oh, how about we throw another gas can onto this fire with a literal gas can that you could throw at people, giving Pyro more area denial? Yippee! Okay, but in all seriousness, Pyro can be a bit fun. I do find his gameplay to be overall more enjoyable than Scout's, but not by a lot. It's a fun from time to time to just turn your brain off, pull out the heavy flamer, and just purge heresy, but at the same time that can be his biggest detriment. Since most of the time running into the full push can get you killed at the end of the day, it can pretty much become very monotonous. Also, despite the variety when it comes to his arsenal, his flamethrower alts, besides one of them, are all garbo. Backburner's ass, Degreaser used to be good, but now it's just worse stock flamethrower. And the Flog? The Flog has always been trash, let's be real. The only one I find worth it is the Dragon's Fury, but that's because it has a unique playstyle and an actually cool game-breaking mechanic with it. Seriously, projectile flames are disgusting in TF2. And in terms of his melees, they're extremely situational. Say besides when you're trying to be a Pyro to your NG, it just never found him super fun to play at times. But hey, the war crimes are innumerable, but the fun times are burnt into the back of my head. And that's all that matters to me. I smell a rat among us, and it smells of cigarettes and high-class bourbon. At number 7, we have the Red Team's own Agent 47, the Spy. Now, in terms of personality, I definitely could say I like Spy a lot more, mainly because of the little shifts in his personality when he is and isn't working. On the job, he's a cold-blooded assassin, but out of the job, he's just a suave, dapper ladies' man, with a sick sense of humor. Seems pretty bipolar, but with his line of work, it seems about what I expected. Considering his main job is to bamboozle the enemy team with disguises and then shake them from behind. I can't tell if he's a huge fan of Britain or he took a page out of Julius Caesar's playbook. Either way, it seems pretty efficient for him. Now, I think it's safe to say that Spy is the hardest class to master, because he functions completely different from the other classes. When you're playing as Spy, one must engage in the art of patience, which for the many 8-brain boys, like myself, is quite a difficult task. By huffing a pack like an abusive deadbeat dad, a Spy can disguise as anyone on the server, including people on your own team, which is very weird. Along with the Invis Watch, which can easily sneak around enemy lines and get into the favorable positions for him. And oh boy, are his tools great. The classic stock ladder is always a good go-to, but then you have alt playstyles like the Dead Ringer, which allows you to go for thinking and just run in at the enemy blindly. Trust me guys, it works, I promise you. Or the Cloak and Do Nothing, actually I meant the Cloaking Dagger, which allows you to be extra sneaky by hiding in corners. But the best game changers are his guns. The Diamondback rewards you for playing the game, the French gun that doesn't do shit, but gives you back more cloak, the Tarantino special that's just really strong, and in the Ambassador, let's just say it's the best way to show you have no intention of touching grass ever in your entire life. But despite these playstyles and having an instant one-shot weapon, the challenge of Spy unfortunately suffers probably the worst when it comes to experienced players. Let me put it this way, if there is no firefight going on, people will spy check, making the vape kit useless, and if you don't pay attention, then you'll be the one getting vibe checked instead. Not only that, but pyro, splash damage, being in the wrong area at the wrong time, and liquids can all cripple the invis watch. Granted, the Spicicle and the Dead Ringer can neg flames, but milk sure as hell don't make it big and strong. And even then, you'll still be out with an invis watch or without a knife to stab someone with, which are the main criterias for Spy. But what a Spy lacks in counters, he makes up for in skill and personality. A pro Spy can single-handedly stop a push from incoming enemies. Motherfuckers got more trick stabs than the Joker, and a higher body count than the Purge movie. And his personality is that of one too.
Yippee-ki-yay, my dead illiterate friend. Too bad this wasn't a pie-eating contest. I'm looking at your x-ray, and I'm afraid you suck. You are an embarrassment to spies everywhere.
Jesus Christ. Calm down there, Twitter. Overall, I would rank Spy in Assassin's Creed 2 out of 3. That means he's good.
Weren't no thing.
Welcome to hell. The only rule is don't feed the sentries. It's bad for your health. For those who don't think there's an afterlife, join a Hightower game. That's the fastest way to meet God. For our next entry, we have the humble Lone Star Man that is Mr. Dale Conager himself, or Mr. Room Exclusion Zone, as I like to call him. Because while his bread and butter is build and support, it might as well be search and destroy, because that sentry is going to be searching and destroying you on sight. Building up towers like he's a construction worker in an Avengers movie, with 3 unique support gadgets. The dispenser does what vending machines do not do, which is to dispense drugs and ammo. The teleporter embraces any obese man's wet dream. Using texted magic, it warps people across the maps to battle, or off a cliff if you want to engage in what Zoomers call trolling. But the main attraction being the true American dream, the sentry gun comes in 2 flavas. The default sentry that is the bane of any team's existence, and the mini sentry, with 3 levels of trollery. Level 1, which shoots slow but decent damage nails into any crow magnums who can't pay attention. The level 2 sentry, which upgrades to a heavy on roids, with dual barrel miniguns that turn any unfortunate enough to enter range into SpaghettiOs. And finally, for maximum trolling, the level 3 sentry, which adds 4 rocket launchers onto the top of it. Good luck getting past this thing because it won't fucking help you. You may be thinking, gee Gran, that seems overpowered. And my answer to that is yes. Well, kinda. Taking a sentry on by yourself is hard, but when an entire team pushes it, it'll get folded faster than a goddamn Slovenian child's spine. This brings me to one of the downsides to Engineer. If you're using the default sentry, turtling or staying in range so you can heal your child is required. But let's say you wanted to play the game like the savage barbarian you are. Simply use the gunslinger, which places down smaller but equally as annoying sentries, which also cost less, allowing you to leave it like a deadbeat dad going out for milk. But when you do leave your child at the McDonald's play place, Engie can pack quite the heat. The regular shotty is already stupid good, but how about a gun that shoots metal and rewards you with metal for good aim? Or maybe you want to heal your stuff at risk-free with the Rescue Ranger, or maybe you want to pistol whip these hoes. And if you really want to be an asshole, you can just use the short circuit, which vaporizes any projectiles out of non-existence. It's like a Hakai, but a volleyball of death. I forgot to mention, you do this while playing as the most cordial man on the planet. He even gives you life advice.
Didn't your mama teach you not to play with matches? Drunk on the battlefield ain't no way to be, son. What in Sam Hill were you thinking, String Bean? You know where you ought to hide next time? Back in France.
And for me, that's enough for him to land at the number 6 spot.
Don't run! It's just ham!
In America, we shoot gun. In Soviet Russia, gun shoots you. Huh, not much has changed there. At number 5, we have the funny fat man himself, the face of Valve, Heavy. Or Misha, as he's called, making sure any silly little rascals aren't having too much fun, and doing what the blood clots in his heart valves are doing right now, blocking the flow of blood from circulating, by using bullets, and more bullets, and more bullets. Yeah, if you couldn't tell, Heavy is the most basic of all the classes. So basic that the lowest of amoebas can learn and play him very quickly. The goal for Heavy is to simply stand in the way of your opposition. Think of it like a security guard on Black Friday at Walmart, only this time you're allowed to fire back. A gun so powerful that it can cause the stock market to crash. The minigun is the byproduct of pure Russian science. Sasha holds 200 rounds of death. Aiming the gun at any schmuck foolish enough to take you head on will result in that recreating that one Robot Chicken sketch. And considering that you have 300 health and probably have a medic up your ass, this gun can quite literally solo a match. But there's so much more to these 20-gallon guns. Now, objectively, Sasha is the best. But what if you're feeling generous and want to handicap yourself? Well, do I have an alt for you? The Brass Bitch. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I meant the Brass Beast. Have you ever wanted to feel like your cognitive functions are equal to a fresh newborn with the speed of a sloth? Then this is the gun for you, my friend. By selecting this, you're basically saying you want to throw the match, as you now become target practice for snipers. But goddamn, is it fun to cosplay as the Wall sometimes. With more damage and chunk, it seems better, but with a slower spin up and slower movement speed, you better hope no one can aim. Okay, how about the Natasha? We don't talk about Natasha. Basically take the decent benefits to the Brass Beast and throw them into a crock pit. You get the crapper's equivalency. But if you want to roast those gators seasoned to shit and well done, the Hugh Long heater does that job well while also putting Heavy more into debt than the American college student. Sacrificing 6 ammo for a ring of fire that prevents spy cloaks, but actually no, not really. I guess he really likes the tack shooter. Me when a group of blues move towards the intel. And after you slaughter everyone in a small school zone, you can sit back and enjoy the trusty sandwich, which is just keeps in his pocket for some weird ass reason, like the average fat kid at your local high school. Maybe in your free time you could practice your boxing, because when you're a shit brick house, anything can be a punching bag, even this little Boston boy's spine. Sure, yes, at times gameplay can be pretty monotonous and slow, but what makes Heavy great isn't the gameplay, it's the goddamn personality of him. There is a reason why this man is the face of Valve itself. What seems like a simple mindset is actually a cold and calculated killer. Just read the comics, you know what I mean. The man went into a solo squad in comp while doing a fucking escort mission, but that's why he's so likable. A charming big man who would rather make you laugh, but is one you don't want to fuck with. And I do mean don't want to fuck with.
I've yet to meet one that can outsmart Bullet. Cry some more. What happens now?
Now? Let's go practice medicine.
Guten Tag, my Fräuleins. Today we're taking a field trip to Germany. All aboard the magic train. May seem distasteful, but I say it's accurate. As I don't think Ludwig here would be one to shy away from cutting people open. Oh wait, he does that already. And that's how he lost his medical license. The Doctor of Red and Blue is quite the character if I do say so myself. Not because he's crazy, but because he practices medicine by putting baboon spawners inside of people. And surgically putting more lives into himself. This man has the balls to bargain with Satan. Now, I know I said Heavy was very simple with his playstyle, but Medic's gameplay might be even more basic. But that isn't to say it's a bad thing. Medic's fun times revolve around his medic guns. The basic Medigun heals any low-level goblins back from the dead and heals the disabled. Finally, we can regrow Ricky's legs. It also gives the person you're healing overheal. And when you fully charge it, you activate your and the person you're healing's inner German, as you purge anyone stupid enough to stick around. But Super Mario powers aren't the only type of Uber you have at your disposal. You also have the Quick Fix, a gun that rapidly heals you instead of Uber, which is complete garbage, but you also have the other two, which are bullshit. The Crits Creep weaponizes the average TF2 player's worst nightmare. It's no secret that crits suck, but when they're literally at your fingertips and with one click that can just nanny on people faster than God to California, it becomes fucking absurd. And then you have the Vaccinator, which just like the actual vaccine, is broken. And not in the good way, as with a click of the reload key, you too can become immune to explosions, furries, and bullets. I think JFK could have really used that last one, not gonna lie. It indeed seems like a wonderful wonderful life, but there's a catch. Let's say you have an attention span of a squirrel and you get shanked by a sneaky french fry man. Well, all the Uber you charged is now all gone. Thankfully, Medic has multiple ways to defend himself. The syringe gun is quite good, but they don't stack up to the Crusader's crossbow, which can not only add decor to your walls and heal teammates from afar, but can also crucify anyone that dares test you. And then there's his melee weapons, which, let me tell you, if you happen to be that close to a medic with his melee out, you might as well accept death, because this fucker has the range of Marth from Smash. And oh boy, does he have several fun choices, like the Sullivan the Amputator, which can amputate your head from your shoulders. But the fan favorite is definitely the Ubersaw, which gives you 10% on connecting it with someone's dermis. It can sometimes allow you to cheat death, but that's Medic's whole thing, allowing you to be as brain dead as possible while spitting on the opposition. Even if your jackass teammates spam the medic button every goddamn second, it feels good to know that you're the reason for their success. Oh god. Ah, finally, back in familiar territory. By that, I mean the local daycare. Hey kids, check out this cool gizmo.
Attack!
With this class, you play as Jane Doe, yes, that's his real name, on your killing spree to make America great again, by blowing it up, with his trusty rocket launchers. Don't worry, it's what George Washington would have wanted. A weapon so universally hated, it rivals that of mustard gas. Sir, this is a Wendy's. With only 4 rockets within the clip, it may seem like a detriment, but 4 is all I need to kill you. With 2 direct hits being able to kill most classes within the game. But that's not the thing that makes it good. Nah, with a magical ability only American science could accomplish. Splash damage is by far one of the most egregiously bullshit things in the game. It doesn't matter if you're behind a wall or up a flight of stairs, Soldier can simply negate that with his American manipulation, allowing him to hit people where he shouldn't. But wait, there's more! What if I told you there was a way to make it so that anything I do mean, and I do mean anything thrown at you gets nullified? And what if I told you it only requires you to hit people? Behold, I give you the banners. By giving up a secondary weapon, you trade it in for stat boosts and mini crits. The buff banner gets everyone near you mini crits, allowing for aggressive pushes. Battalion backups gives extra bulk to everyone and the soldier's raw physique and big dick energy. It's the best, by the way. No cap. And then we have the conch, which gives you health and speed boosts, which never fucking work. But besides banners, Soldier also has a myriad of rocket launchers. Now, I'm gonna be honest here. Half of these launchers are quite bad, like laughably bad, but the 4 that are good and the 1 meme weapon are indeed exquisite. The airstrike lets you rain death from above and rewards you for more casualties you hit, and pairs well with the parachute. The original is for those who want to play TF2 Classic, without having to play TF2 Classic, but by far the best has gotta be the direct hit. If you want to flex how much of a Chad you are, use this. This weapon has some of the best benefits of any gun within the game, giving faster rockets and higher damage for giving up splash damage, meaning in order to use this, you have to get direct hits. Ah, I see what you did there, Valve. Now, that may seem easy, but if you're too accustomed to the splash damage and slower rocket, it can be really fucky-wucky with your perspective on how to use this thing, basically screwing you in the long run. But once you adjust yourself, it basically becomes a one-hit kill move for most classes within the game. As for melees, the only worthy choice is the cobblestone pickaxe, because you can do this. But what I think puts Soldier in top 3 for me has gotta be, spoiler alert, his personality. It's no secret that he's Mr. American, but he might have taken that way too literally, because this man treats the others like how America actually treats them, by making racism look like a fucking Olympic sport.
Go play your pinko chess game with the devil, commie. I'm gonna mail my boot to the Kaiser with your ass around it. You just got dominated, Bilbo Baggins. Your white flag does not stop American bullets.
Not only that, but this dude somehow bagged a hot Russian mommy and somehow turned her into an American. Somehow. It's just like Star Wars. And that, my friends, is the true American dream. Or the true Redditor's dream, I guess, but either one works here.
You shouldn't have even gotten out of bed.
Welcome to the Outback. Have some lemonade, now with extra calcium. Wow, the class where you get to flex your dominance the most, taking the number 2 spot, which is more shocking to me, as I'm not fond of the most sniper-based weapons in FPS shooters, the only exception being the hunting rifle from Fortnite and the cactus from Garden Warfare. But Sniper in TF2 might be my favorite of all of those types of snipers. The gameplay of Sniper can be described as simple as this: point and click adventures while yanking it in a bush. Yes, I'm not kidding, it's that simple. Staying in one spot may seem like a detriment, but it can actually work to your advantage. Being somewhere where the enemy least expects you is the sniper's greatest advantage, like being down a long hall in the enemy base, around the corner, or spawn camping the enemy team. Oh wait, no, that's just a bot. It also helps that sniper rifles are pretty much equal to one another in terms of viability. The stock is the best overall choice, but the alt options are about as good, and none of them overshadow one another. The Hitman Heatmaker and the Bizarre Bargain rewards you for hitting headshots. The Piss Taker can put out teammates and give infections to targets you hit. The Machina and the upper hand is for those who take themselves way too seriously. Don't believe me? Just watch a sniper main. So-called sniper mains when you rush them as scout. Despite these weapons being balanced, the life of a sniper player is a rough one. But the second your position is compromised, you'll be bombarded with rockets, pills, or pyros who can't admit they have no father figures. Yes, little Timmy, it's your fault for the divorce. But what if you want to strike back against them? Do I have a combo for you? The Kunstman Bitchwanker combo. With this, any players that challenge you will cease to exist, just like the scout birds. They're just holograms. But what if they're too close to you? Do what any Australians would do. Fling the piss jar at your unexpected targets and run at them ass naked with only a knife at hand. By doing this, people you shank will drop from sight from Manco brand typhoids, thanks to your, knife difference. Now, what if you don't want to play Huntsman and you're still getting spammed from the depths of hell itself? There are 3 options. 1. The Cozy Camper. This prevents people from using recoil to their advantage as you gain a higher pain tolerance than an Olympic athlete. 2. The Razor and Donger Shields. 2 shields that both have benefits. The Darwin's prevents flare spam from pestering you and absorbs fire thrown at you in general, just like the real Australian wildlife. The Razorback, which stops corner camping spies from the England classic of shank and run, but not the American way of gun violence. Or number 3, getting good. It may seem harsh, but getting better as a sniper is really the easiest way to prevent all of this. If you're a threat to the enemy team, they'll probably go out of their way just to kill you. But when you're a good sniper, getting to you is the easier said and done part. But despite the balance and challenge with Mr. Mundy, what draws my appeal has gotta be his voice lines. Remember when I said Soldier made racism an Olympic sport? Well, Sniper isn't just the king of Australia, but the king of insults, because goddamn does he know how to aim where it hurts, that being your frontal lobe.
You are inventing loads of new ways to get killed by me. I just bagged the world's fattest man. Sorry there, nurse. I mistook you for an actual threat. Gotcha, you spastic little gremlin. Lend us your shovel so I can dig your grave.
Christ, that's cold. But it's nothing personal, mate. It's all part of the job. I mean, after all, professionals do indeed have standards.
Cotton Bayous!
Scotland, meet your maker. He has one eye, a built-in brewery for a liver, and smells of nitroglycerin. As we end our tour across the world with a trip to the lands of the drunks and jobs, the Demoman, the chadliest bomb chucker this side of the Islander. Just hope your neck isn't on the other side of that sword. It seems weird that the class with the less depth perception got my attention more than, say, a piss-flinging Aussie and an average American. But he did indeed rank above both, and it's easy to see why. Take all the positives of the last 4 classes and stick them into one character. Mix it with cheap whiskey, a herring twitch, and a wee pinch of potassium chloride. You get Tavish Finnegan de Groot, and he is about to turn the other team into Thin Crew. And oh boy, does he have the weapons to do that. Starting with only pill launchers that not even a medic has access to, which is quite strange since you'd think he would prefer this to the crossbow, but whatever. The grenade launcher launches a volley of old people medication at your victims, getting them so high on ego death they shed these human bodies and transcend into the afterlife. And there's so much more to this little gun. It can ricochet off walls, scale buildings, and even if they miss, they'll still find their targets. Just like how Demoman always finds his scurfy. But wait, there's more! Just like Soldier, there's a weapon that turns aiming into a reward with the lock and load. Named after a giant oarfish Demo failed to kill as a baby. With this gun, you lose the rolling mechanic of the pills, but the medicine and doses have been increased exponentially, even one-shotting any poor child who dares challenge these drugs. If they hated the pill, they're gonna hate the pill even more now. But if you want to embrace your inner LeBron James, the Iron Bomber also exists, which launches basketball pills equal to stock. However, though, unlike a real basketball, they're more akin to school mesh balls. You know, the ones that are baby shit soft and look like they've been bitten into. But they pale to the true grenade launcher, which he borrowed from Pirates of the Caribbean set, and it personally signed by Johnny Depp himself. Sure, the normal cannonballs don't do a lot of damage, but they have insane knockback, and they have a great catch to them. A little thing called double donking. Timing the shots launches a cannonball charge will cause the bomb to launch back and hit your foe with extra donk for your buck. And just like Amber Heard, they'll be shitting the bed if you can aim with it. But what if you decide you don't like chucking high velocity explosives at people? Well, do I have an old style for you? No, it's not the sticky bomb launcher, get that shit out of my sight, because the real Chad gamers rely on the sword and shield for an alternative. Demo Night allows you to embrace your inner NASCAR driver, as you charge into people equal to a NASCAR. It's just like being hit by Yoda's Honda Civic. It's gonna separate your head from your shoulders. By embracing your inner Highlander, you gain the arcane ability to steal your foe's heads and add it to your own speed. It's like they always say, there can be only one, but only 3 of these swords do that. Picking one of the other 3 variants can offer different effects to varying degrees of speed and stupidity. The Weeb Sword, or the Half Satoshi, is a samurai sword that Demo, being drunken buffoon he is, can't help but not cut himself with every time he sticks it in the back of his hilt. But by killing someone with it, your shiny silver ray will allow you to recover about 100 HP back. Though this makes it more of a last resort weapon in most situations, or a complete menace if you get a chain going. But if you really want to embarrass people, the Skull Cutter is the perfect choice for you. While movement with this weapon is equal to Granny crossing the street, random crits do be quite nice. But of course, everyone knows the beer bottle beats everything, even the knife. It's at this point I would like to remind you that he is completely shit-faced as he cuts through people like a pit bull in a preschool.
Dominated! I feel everything! I know everything! Go on and build more of your little guns. I'll shove every one of them up your arse. I hope I didn't scare you with my face-to-face man-fighting. Dominated, you Teutonic nursemaid!
And of course, the best way to play Demo is also to be hammered yourself off a cheap scotch. Just ask Lazy Purple. But with that, this concludes our worldwide trip around the globe. From starting in Boston and ending in Scotland, this was indeed a fun ride. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next video.